What is going on, everybody? We're back on it. Hunter x Hunter chapter 404. Some crazy interesting developments. I have become a Halkenburg ability guru since the last reaction. I think the part that hung me up on the most that you guys clarified. And again, these are raw one-time reactions. I don't know if you guys are able to just click, connect dots, boom, boom, boom when you're reading, or you have the luxury of watching a bunch of detailed breakdowns or rereading, but we're trying to piece it together. Again, I've done no rereading of old chapters or anything like that, so we're trying to piece it together as we go. But I think the part that had me hung up confusion wise the most was I wasn't under the impression that he had figured out a way to move his own soul or his own consciousness or whatever we want to call it. So seeing that he's placed it in there is pretty wild. And then I know we still don't have clarification of what actually happens to the souls. I guess we're calling it souls or consciousness of the ones that he kind of like kicks out of their bodies. Like, where is Balsa's consciousness go? Now, have we ever seen a case where, and again, this might be easy knowledge, have we seen an instance where he's transferred somebody else's soul or his own, and then that target not die? Because I'm under the impression that I have is he takes a body over with somebody else's soul or his own soul in this instance. We don't know what happens. So like, he's here, he possesses this, but the person that possessed this body, original theirs, goes wherever. But typically, has every single target died and then the soul returns back to said user? Has there ever been an instance where we've taken over, kicked out, not killed the person, and then returned? I don't think we have. Regardless, we'll see what happens. He's pressing forward, doing all these crazy tactic things. I think it's a ballsy move because, again, clarification on like, have we seen what happens if the person that they've taken over, they haven't killed or gotten rid of them? Do we just, reset? Not quite sure. Kurapika has been called upon. It looks like he might take out Benjamin. I mean, not Kurapika, but Halkenburg's planning to. And I'm curious, so we're at 404. I would say probably not this chapter. Do you guys think by chapter 405, so by the end of next chapter, because it could be this chapter or the next, do you think we have a dead prince? Now, clearly, if you guys have read this already and there is one in this chapter, then you guys already know the answer. But if not, do you think we have one by the end of 405? Very, very curious. Also, I'm dog watching, and I have it on a monitor on my phone down here. So if I'm, just know we're looking at that. But let's go ahead and do this. Let me drag this over here. Press play on this. Turn this down a little bit. Press play. Do this. Turn it down a little bit in my headphones. And chapter 404. You've pretty much proved. Oh, yeah. And then he's over here trying to figure out the coin, which maybe Kurapika walks in there and figures it out. Maybe it's only useful to end users. Maybe you input it and get something back the longer you let it stack up. But there's questions on that. You've pretty much proven your hypothesis that the coins change after 10 days. Yes. We're recording, right? To maintain their physical forms, there should be an upper limit to how many can be produced. Here, the costs are shared by distributing them to others, making mass production possible. The point of currency is to change hands. We'll need to verify what kind of changes occur in that case. First, are there any differences in designs between the coins you have and the ones you've given to others? Okay. This should be a quick check. Your Highness, mine has a different design from those. You're right, the front is the same. You're right, the front is the same, but the back is totally different. This shows that the effects of the coins can also differ depending on who's holding them. Can you give one of those coins to your entourage to see what happens? Okay, Kurapika, I'll give you this coin. Will the 10 coin change if I give it away? We can see what happens to the number and the design, letting us kill two birds with one stone. And the thing is, like, we don't even know what the coin does and doesn't do. To the point of, like, do you want that in your possession, Kurapika? If I don't take it, he might not trust me. But like, I don't want to take it because I don't know what it's doing to me. But even if accepting it is a condition to activate a semi-coercive manipulation, the nen stored over 10 or so days isn't enough to give powerful commands like murder. Yeah, but you don't know what it could put you in position to do. 1 coin a day. They change after 10 days. This is a long-term outlook, an ability that would demonstrate its true utility after he's king. It reflects Zang Lei's personality to plan ahead. It'll be safe enough for now. Well, both the number and design changed. It looks like the same as your boy. It seems the time and effect to get reset when it changes hands. So even if you give somebody one that's been stored for 10 days, it's going to reset to 0. It has to be in their possession for the 10 days, I would assume. Here, I'll give this back to you. Let's see if it changes again. All right. The design changed back to mine, but its value didn't go back to its 10. So if a 10 isn't in the possession of the person with the 10, it's a hard reset. But we still don't know what it means when it hits the 10. Like, what do we have to give it back to the beast? Because he can't give it back to his own beast because he can't see his own beast. I see, now I understand. I have a rough idea of your ability. Really, do tell. Right now, I don't mind. I guarantee it's not something that would threaten First Prince Benjamin. All right, Kurapika, explain this to me like I'm 5. What do you got? He's slick. Living as third prince, he's become adept at using implicit signaling. He'll be on our side as long as we understand what he wants and maintain rank. He wants me to refrain from revealing the ways in which this ability could be a threat. Third Prince Zang Lei's guardian spirit beast is presumed to have a cumulative conjuration ability. Fair enough, because we've seen it rank up to 10 and we've seen it conjure the coin, so self-explanatory enough. Currency is meant to be circulated, but by intentionally making it something to hold onto long term, the coins store nen, perhaps enabling them to exhibit various powers later on. Okay. But how much of a threat, I guess, are we talking? That in about 6 months, when the coins are worth quintillion, the owner could have their nodes opened, meaning they will be ready to use nen. As you surmise, 10 to the power of 64 could be required amount for a nen ability to manifest in that person. After all, the number is represented in Buddhist terminology. Since nen normally requires rigorous training to learn, this may be an optimal way to bypass that effort. Okay. A cumulative ability is often seen in those who are intellectual and who like to plan ahead. In other words, this ability looks ahead to a time after you assume the throne. I'm going to go back and read the inner thought bubbles. In exchange for being as close to risk and cost-free as possible, the beast requires compensation, which is probably pseudo-coercive manipulation, semi-forced loyalty to Zang Lei, its creator. Hold on. Page is freaking out on me. I see. Isn't it like me? I should omit the part about the possibility of pseudo-coercive manipulation for now. It would make unnecessary waves, and I want to let the coin do its thing and see its effect. Its effect on the person who's hiding the coin that appeared on the first day. Oh, brother. I'm gonna make sure I'm not missing anything when I zoom in. Okay. Oh, he's the one that's got the day 1 coin still on him. Today is Wednesday, 11 days since the succession battle began. Most abilities that count 10 days as a condition use the moment of emergence as day 1. If the coin started to appear on Sunday, there should be two 10 coins by now. The one who picked it up hasn't stepped forward, even now, because he knows what's going on and doesn't want to give information to Zang Lei. Fair enough. He saw it appear from the guardian spirit beast, picked it up, and it benefits him to keep quiet about it. Fair. He's the only one here who can use nen and isn't affected but with Zang Lei. Isn't affiliated with Zang Lei. The coins appear every day at 1 p.m. We can easily find out who was by Zang Lei's side at the time by checking the shift schedule. His presence now gives me an excuse as to why I'm hiding the manipulative nature of the ability if it comes to light later that I wasn't forthcoming about it. Yes, this way. Yes, this was very helpful, Kurapika. Now I can spend my time pondering how to spend my future with my siblings. Well, the number of coins you have may also have an effect. I think you should hold on to a few yourself for now. All right, then I'll give you... Stop trying to give us that damn coin. I'll give you the one that appeared today, and I'll hold on to the rest for a while. Thank you. I mean, everyone's walking on eggshells damn near around here, with a smile on their face, trying not to, like, say or do anything too reckless. As for the other topic, I must ask you to wait a while longer. The second workshop should be key. Fine, there can never be too much information, but it's not urgent. I'm more worried about you in 14th Prince Wobble security detail. Don't think of us as equals. I'm accepting information in exchange for ensuring Wobble's safe. Oh, okay. Pure piece of shit. I mean, he's got to look out for himself, but you didn't have to say that, like, we're not equals. But, okay. It's likely the others used the first workshop to gather intel and lay their groundwork. You should prepare yourselves. Correct, we know this. Much appreciated. Being under his protection in exchange for information on Nen pertaining to the succession battle is extremely beneficial, but it comes with risk. Zang Lei is one of the princes with a mafia family under their wing. There are over 200 members on board on the lower tiers, their combat potential serving as inhibition against the higher princes. The power balance between him, Saridnik, and Lucerus, with their connections to this underworld, is important. If it tips too far, the situation could change drastically. If the rope in the tug of war between these three princes snaps, who will benefit most? Benjamin. He has a powerful weapon in his back pocket called the martial law. The intensifying conflict between the factions will be enough reason to enact it. He can place all the princes under house arrest with the pretext of protecting them, and he'll have free reign. Page is glitching again. The problem is how the rope gets cut. The rope that held this balance for so long may seem fragile, but is actually strong if this breaks out into an all-out war without any deals. The surest thing to happen is the assassination of the leaders. The real leaders here are the benefactor princes. Once the situation is created where any assassination of a prince can be interrupted, can be interpreted as a mafia hit, the all-out war will transition to martial law. So it's entirely possible that Benjamin will go after either Zang Lei, Saridnik, or Lucerus in order to create this very situation. And considering Benjamin's personality, even if Zang Lei was living with the youngest prince to protect her, he won't hesitate. In fact, her death would emphasize the cruelty of the mafia and place the blame on them. Yeah, but Benjamin's got some shit he's dealing with at the moment, so you know, he's kind of got to lock in. Hold on here, making sure there's no dog activities going crazy. Benjamin might not be around for much longer, word on the street, from how some of these things are going. Being in room 1014, where each prince guards monitor and keeps the others in check, may be safer than the risk of Benjamin coming after us in room 10. No, chill. But we still don't know who sent those snakes. Not to mention the danger that each of them is plotting, something which choice involves more risk. The difference is negligible. It's a gut. He is so tiny. Like, I knew he was short, but holy shit. Seeing him next to Wobble's mother is like really small. And Kurapika's never been big either. Either way, we're on thin ice. Yeah, we're on a lot of thin ice. Who's this getting wheeled in on a gurney over here? What's happening? Oh shit, it's Cheadle and... Patient is unresponsive. Is that Halkenburg? Temp, no tremors, unlabored breathing. He may have hit his head when he fell. Order a Chem 7 blood panel and a CT. Ask 7th Princess Halkenburg's guard on tier 1 about his condition over the past week. Okay, it's going into motion here. Send the vomitus to gel in forensic stat. The target's persona won't wake until I go to sleep. The target's persona won't wake until I go to sleep. The addition of a coma to the symptoms will delay the stomach flu diagnosis conveniently. If I get mother to refuse an autopsy, my death will be officially classified as an unexplained organ failure. And then, so what's the play when you pop up? Like, I'm curious what he has set in motion here, right? Let's say he does something and takes out Benjamin. And a couple hours later, hey, I'm back. That's awfully interesting timing. Like, I feel like you'd have to delay it for some time. Like, you don't want to pop right back up. It's way too suspicious. So, like, how long do you keep this up? And then it's like, what? I guess he's not really dead, so it's not like his body would waste away. I don't know. It's a lot. Halkenburg vomited and was taken to the hospital. My mission will be complete in about 12 hours. Once he starts vomiting, it'll take half a day until death. We don't want any interference. Good work. I'll send the royal and military medical teams there. Monitor progress. Alright. We proved our hypothesis in our experiment with Shikaku and Sumador. After he was shot, Sumador, the body, awoke and recited Shikaku's service number. Yeah. We confirmed the fact that only one of the swapped minds can be awake at a time. Our side generally. Okay. While Sumadori, the body, is conscious, Shikaku, the mind, won't awaken. Okay. Once Sumadori wakes up, Shikaku is forced to lose consciousness. Okay. Trying to awaken Shikaku won't work during this time. The priority is earned by putting our lives on the line. Okay, slightly confused there, but okay. Oh. Page is freezing again. Try this again. My ability is a forced mind swap. One person is chosen at random from our group. Yeah, somebody that's pinned. And switches minds with the victim shot with the arrow. Yep, we got that. Next, we needed to find out what happens to the mind when the body dies. Yeah, so what happens when we swap it and then we kill it? So it's like, oh, I put him in their body. Okay, shoot him in the head. Do we come back? When there are two bodies, only one persona can be awake at a time, and priority goes to us. Yeah, so that's why we don't know what happens to the other. Since the definition of death isn't spelled out in the succession battle, it's reasonable to consider that both the body and the mind need to be dead. Therefore, once we've split a prince's mind from their body, there's no point in testing a process by which the target's mind could return to their original body. Okay. What we needed to test first was when the target's body dies first, what happens to the person within? What if the target's mind, having lost a body to return to, also lose his current body? Yeah. As for 2, it's obvious when you consider that this is an ability made possible by the assistance of the guardian spirit beast in order to win the succession battle. You're saying a lot right now. As for 1, only those who are willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good can participate in my ability. Look at the imagery they're using here. Oh, I don't have a filter up. I'm gonna have to put that up in post edit. I just remembered that. Holy shit. In my ability, feeling morality conflicted about it is a disservice to their righteousness dedicated to the cause. My focus must remain on fighting to build the ideal nation to honor their noble sacrifices. Do we think, let me know what you guys think while I check this. Do we think Halkenburg's starting to fly a little too close to the sun? Is he sipping on a little too much of his own Kool-Aid? Like, do we think he's maybe thinking like too highly of himself, perhaps? Like his shit doesn't stink? Or, you know, what do we really think? Maybe. Like, it's all for righteousness in the idea. It's like, is it though? Like, we're still there now, but we'll see. The probability of me swapping with Balsa myself was low, but within expected parameters, we experimented with Vict in advance. If the body on our side dies first, okay, the victim's mind returns to their own body and coexists with and coexist with the trespasser's mind. Jesus, okay. Forever? For the rest of time? In that case, the victim's mind regains dominance, but do you still have like fragments of the other? Therefore, right after my body dies, Balsa's mind will return to his own body, okay? And my mind will be forced into sleep. But we can do something about this. Right before my body dies, I'll take a sleeping pill in Balsa's body. The time I'll have until Balsa's mind reawakens can only be loosely finessed, but I'll be able to control this body for about 10 hours after my body's own death. So in that time is when he's got to pounce. I have to finish it within that time. My next move to be the... I mean, I know he's smart and like has got the shit, but man, this is a lot of like loose testing. There's a lot, like in my opinion, there have not been enough. How many trial runs y'all got on this? I need to see detailed report before we can push this to like the general public with like, this seems real like, but he's pressed for time. It's not like we can just do trials and human trials and okay. Where are we at? Page wise? Cutting close, and they just gave us 2 back-to-back with nothing. It's interesting that they showed these 3 right after showing Halkenburg. Benjamin, bitch girl, Zang Lei. Who was it who said leveling up isn't climbing a hill, but a staircase? It's so true. My time just wouldn't get shorter, and I was about to be discouraged. No way, just 3 days? This is absurd. Theta, what am I supposed to do with him? I still can't take it easy. Getting under that last second will be much harder. 1 week or 10 days. It might even take 2 weeks, damn it. I'll make it happen. I'll carve it down. I'm really curious when we get into this, because he's been like hammering this. When it's done, right? When he reaches his time goal, it's like, okay, now what's his move? Are we just sitting and waiting, knowing that he's accomplished it? Or does that mean like now I'm putting my cards down, like I'm in action? The progress he can make in a given amount of time is so much more than what the average guy can do. He's so intense. Even the deadline he sets for himself is on a different level, and he knows he can make it happen. And then he said we'd spar, right? What the hell is he going to do with me? Dude, you got to get the fuck out of there. You got to run, bro. Seeing a quick shot of all the princes. That's actually might be the best shot right there. I think I like that one better than actually, the 3 of them is kind of nice too. But I like the Saradnik being the main one there. Is that... I don't know why I thought that might be Bisky. I'm not sure. The second round of classes will begin tomorrow morning, Thursday at 9 in the morning. The format will be the same as before, but the second Prince Camilla's guards will be joining us this time. From Prince Benjamin's camp, it will be you in Furry Cove as before. Is that right? And are we under the impression that, was it him that we think is No. It's not him that we think is beyond. It's the guard for Saradnik that we think that made the comment about him having Nen adaptability since he was little, or as far back as he could remember. So why do you think Prince Camilla changed her mind? Maybe she was verifying your claims. They know what happened here, so there must be some benefit for their side anyway. The reason could generally be to take the course or gather intel, assassination, alliance building, strategy. I mean, all it could be all of it. Prince Camilla's personal guards use curses unique to the have-nots. If that's true, are they Nen abilities? Is the target really wobble? Good grief, more uncertainties. That they're only sending one person shows a firm resolve. Considering Camilla's personality, they're not coming to learn. Correct. Correct. Melody's letter on the secrets of each princess didn't mention anything about Camilla. Does she have a secret that forced them to act? It depends what they do. I have the contract with Zang Lei too. I'll have to be careful. We want to keep Prince Camilla's guards away from Prince Wobble as much as possible. The shifts will be tough, but we'll do this together. That's fine. It's crazy how much trust we've put in him, by the way. Shamamu, stay by the queen and prince's side. Chores can take a back seat. He's flatlining. Oh my god. Man is really flatlining there, huh? The body will be transferred at noon today from Tier 3 to Tier 2 via the central stairwell. Then the morgue in Tier 1. Wow. Solely official. A ship-wide announcement, a send-off by his supporters and his personal guards to transport the coffin. Those were his last wishes. Yes, his own words when he sensed his death. How should we respond? Do as he wished. It'll show we honored his wishes. I was just about to ask this. What does he think is going to happen to his body? Like, you've had to have that set into plan. And who's to say that he even respected those wishes? I mean, Benjamin said he will, but I mean, it's asking a lot. Do as he wished. It'll show we honored his wishes, even if we don't say outright they were his. Everything should be done solemnly and with dignity so that his supporters' sorrow doesn't turn to anger. He's so worried about, like, the Nen boost from the group of people. Like, who knows what could happen with that. And he would like the supporters to maybe come to his side. They don't want to say that he tarnished his, dead body and then expect to rule said same people. Inform Judge Clay that we drop all charges so that his guards can join him at once. Wow, it's working. So once they get here, I'll discuss funeral plans and the autopsy and monitor the process. That means I'll return at the same time as Halkenburg's body. Make sure it gets handled respectfully. Well done. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, and thank you, my brother. That's the last page. Damn. So we only got 19 pages. Okay. I'm afraid, and it gets announced. Wow. Well, we know, so I'm not going to count this as a prince is dead. So the bet's still on. Is like, do we think one dies at the end of 4? Like, do we think Benjamin dies at the end of 405? Because he says he's got to do it in that time frame. I'm afraid we have some tragic news to report. Prince Halkenburg passed away earlier in the early hours this morning. At noon, his funeral procession will pass through the central staircase on its way to Tier 1. Those on Tier 3 who wish to pay respects may gather in the central staircase square. Ooh, is this some of the spiders here? Yeah, it is. It's been a minute. Is this prince some benefactor from either mafia? Then who cares? Let's get down to Tier 4. Thanks to Heinrich placing the transmitter where they can't find it. We have time. There's something I want to check with the other two families before we head to the Haley hideout. What about Haley? No point, we crush them anyway. It has to do with how we crush them, of course. We may have to call the others depending on what they say. You make no sense. Being charmed by the enemy is creepy. Well, if it's unfounded, then whatever. But I'll beat you up if I'm right on this. Fair enough. And that ends up being it. I'm trying to... I mean, we went from like some good text to like... We have 1... I'd call that 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4.5 of the 18 pages was no text. Which is fine. I feel like you kind of need that sometimes. I don't know what was my preferred. Whether we want to say like maybe this one was here. Of just him kind of being there. I also really liked the one of the 3 of them as well. That's not a bad shot either. And then we had this one. It might actually have to be Saradnik. I'm not gonna lie to you. That might be the shot. So Benjamin, I mean, not all Benjamin. It's been, it's Halkenburg, man. It's Halkenburg, and it's always gonna be Halkenburg. it seemed, like I said, it seems wild because the plans to me feel like it has so much risk to it when you're body hopping like that. And it's not like he's what are one of the princes that we know that's been real dialed? Like, is it Benjamin that's got a pretty good hold on it? Camilla that's got a pretty good hold on it? That's maybe had this ability for years, and they know the inside. They've trialed and tested it and body hopped and done this, and this, and I've got this amount of time before I can do this, and I know that I can take over this person's soul or body because there's a lot. I feel like personally, but also it's not like he's just in a lab hanging out for a couple of years and can test all this information with whoever. He's pressed for time. He's got I say he's got a rough idea of how it could go and how it should work. And he's going for it. Now, I'm curious if Togashi and Hunter x Hunter, the story writing, is going to let it go as smooth and as essentially flawless as Halkenburg has laid out to us, the viewer. We've gotten all the inner thoughts, and he's like, I've done this. We tried it with this case, and then I was able to do it with this, and then we were able to switch back, and I'm going to be able to put him to sleep, and I'll have a 10-hour window before his body takes back over, and then I'll get back in my body. It'll be roughly this much time before I can come back awake, and then his goal is to, I don't know if it's just to take out Benjamin or as many as he can. I would assume Benjamin. What's the betting price that actually goes is how Halkenburg laid out. There's not a snag or a snare or anything that trips up during that whole, highly unlikely in my opinion. But maybe it'll be that flawless. I mean, Prince has got to start dropping at some point. So maybe it is going to be this step-by-step flawless. Like, look how much of a genius locked in this man is. Princes do got to start dropping. Or maybe he gets so overconfident and does it himself that he fucks up and ends up taking out Benjamin and himself. We'll see. Some good stuff, though. I kind of like because again, a couple chapters ago that had all that text, that was a little too much for me. I do kind of like the switch up of like, here's some panels with no text, here's some text heavy, and like just mixing them in. But we'll see what we get. I don't know if we're still on schedule. I know it's Halloween and all that, but 405 coming out same time next week, or has anything changed? If anything changes upload wise from their side, let me know. But I'll plan to be here same time next week. Appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and as always,